Hi, this is Jim and Terry Osborne. Welcome to Onboard with the Osborns. This is our September 2022 video.
September's gone.
I know. It's already October 2nd.
Dog
I
wants
don't know
up.
if she's going to jump up because she's used to having carpeting.
Come on. Come on.
She's used to having carpeting.
She doesn't jump well on the hardwood floors.
Right. And we're not sure they're hardwood. They're just not carpeted.
They're wood and they're hard. They're made out of wood. And if you knock your head on them, you're going to be pissed. Come on.
Don't say pissed.
Come on up here, dog.
She can't.
She can. She just doesn't want to.
Okay. All right. And so back in, by the way, hello. We haven't talked to you in like forever. It's all been videos. But this summer we were working on our backstory, telling you our sailing experience, our boating, water experience. And our last final backstory video was supposed to be on in July, but we ended up moving.
Got distracted.
Yes, we did. To Washington, D.C. And so we did look at a couple boats this month. We looked at 2 monohulls, and we thought we had an appointment to look at a catamaran, but an offer got put in on it, so that didn't go through. So we will be at the boat show in Annapolis. The sailboat show runs October 13th through the 17th, and I think we will be there on Monday the 17th.
Probably.
I think that's the plan. And so this is the last part of our backstory, our Barefoot Chargers. We had one in the British Virgin Islands in, I think it was 2009. It was your 50th birthday party.
We do the math. 58 plus 50 would have been an 8.
Oh, 2008. Okay,
Yeah.
There you go. And then a couple of years after that, we bareboat chartered in San Diego. Jim was at a conference for work, and we decided to stay an extra day and bareboat charter a sailboat and take it out into the San Diego Bay. So those are going to be that's what we're going to talk about today. So British Virgin Islands, BVIs. That was trip of a lifetime.
Fun trip.
Okay, what stands out most to you from that trip?
Stands out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ben and Kayla came with us.
Right.
And it was my 50th birthday, so that was very awesome. And what stands out? Well, the very first night there, of course, we went and got the boat and took I think we had to take like a 2-hour class or something before they let us onto the boat.
Plus we had a provision.
Oh yeah, we had groceries delivered to the boat that we ordered in advance. So we loaded up and then we took off and we just went to probably the closest island. I forget which name.
Norman, I think the first one was Norman.
I think it was Norman.
Yeah.
I should have done my homework.
That's all right.
And anchored there, and that was the night of my birthday. So we didn't anchor. We picked up a mooring ball, and then we dinghied into this little restaurant. And none of the 4 of us have ever had a rum painkiller before. Kind of a famous drink in the Caribbean, and it was my birthday, and it was off season a little bit.
Right, it was in August, so it was during hurricane season.
Just the beginning of hurricane season.
So it's cheaper.
And we went to this little restaurant, this little beach cafe, and we ordered painkillers just to have a drink, and they were closing.
Right.
And so we got our drinks and our dinner to go, our burgers to go, or did we eat them real fast?
I think we ate the burgers at the bar.
Real fast, and drank our painkillers real fast. And and they were just very tasty and ice creamy and just so
the
nice.
drinks
The drinks were.
Yes, I don't remember the burgers at all.
And then they had like a half a pitcher of them left, and they were closing. They said, and we were leaving, and we were being nice and getting out of their hair so they could close. And it had gotten dark already.
It got dark so early. I know.
And so they gave us the rest of the painkillers to go. So we sat on the dinghy dock and drank those. just feeling wonderful, not realizing how full of alcohol they actually were. And so it's night, unfamiliar anchorage, unfamiliar boat, really. And we take off in the dinghy. Ben's driving the dinghy, and all the boats look alike in the morning. All the mooring balls were filled.
And Robert Barlow, shout out to Robert. He told us this would happen.
Yeah, all the boats look alike. They all looked identical. I couldn't figure out which boat we needed to go get on. I figured if we got on enough of them, eventually we'd get on the right one. And then Ben was driving, and he took off, and I thought he was going across the sea back to Road Town or something.
Tortola.
Tortola. Yeah, Road Town.
Oh, is that the same? Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so that really stands out as not being able to find our way back to the boat, which we did. Ben probably drove right there.
Yes, he did. He went exactly to the right boat. First time he knew exactly where he was going.
Yeah.
But Jim was having the conversation with Ben. Where are you taking us, buddy?
They all looked alike to me.
Yes, they did. They did. But
and so I think we stayed on that mooring ball for a couple of days because there was some good snorkeling right there.
Right, and I had never snorkeled before, so it was huge to me. It was just, and I'm not sure if Ben or Kayla had snorkeled before. Maybe Ben did.
In Florida.
You and Ben.
We went to the Hens and Chicks in Florida, the four of us.
Oh, yeah, okay.
On that reef, and snorkeled that reef.
Yes.
Because you wore this big diamond belt buckle on your swimming suit to attract all the barracudas.
That's correct. Speaking of barracudas, Kayla was snorkeling, and I wish Ben and Kayla were here to tell the story, but it was a barracuda, and Ben got in between her and the fish, is how I remember it. But they didn't know what it was until they got back on the boat and looked on the boat.
Ben saved his wife from the from the monster man-eating barracuda fish.
They were just dating at that time.
Partner.
Yes. And it was like a barracuda, and so
good.
They checked the fish.
Yeah, there
when
was
they got
some
back.
big barracuda there.
Oh, and I got my first sting from a jellyfish.
Oh yeah, you got jellyfished.
Yeah, I mean we went to like all the islands.
Went to a lot of them. Yeah. Some of them.
The farthest one we didn't make it to. Oh, and then on the Atlantic side, on of the BVI's, we had our last day. We had 3 to 6 foot seas, and oh my gosh, it was a blast. I had
sailing.
So much fun.
Lively.
It was sporty.
It was sporty. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It was good. We had a 39-foot Beneteau.
Yes.
4 cabins. 4 cabins, 2 heads.
Right.
Yeah, and the kids took the front.
Do you want to tell your pants story?
my ass pant. We told the ass pant story, haven't we?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay, so we were in the BVI's. We were anchored, and it was hot, and so I decided that I wasn't going to sleep. I was just too hot for 2 people in one berth.
Well, let me preface this with, before we left on the trip, we challenged ourselves to go on this 2-week trip with nothing but 1 gym bag. And so that's what we did. We packed 1 gym bag, 1 small bag each. And for the entire time, this is travel clothing, and then swim gear, the snorkel gear was on board, swimwear, and boating wear, and then travel clothing to come home, and all for a 2-week trip in 1 bag.
In 1 bag.
So I only had 2 pair of pants. I had recently been diagnosed with the good kind of skin cancer. That's what the doc told me, the basal cell carcinoma. It's not really even hardly a cancer, another doc told me. But anyway, little skin cancer, so I was protective, and I was wearing long hiking breathable pants and long sleeve breathable shirts in the sun to protect my skin from the rays. Big hat. So I only brought really 2 pair of pants for the entire trip, other than travel clothes, and I wore those all the time. And I wore 10 days on the water. 5 days I wore 1 pair of pants, and then the last 5 days I wore a second pair of pants. Okay.
And so I didn't know that. Anyway, and so I went over to the empty berth to sleep, and the empty cabin, and I didn't have a pillow with me, and there were just pants there, clothing.
We were throwing
they were just clothing, yeah.
Our clothes in there. We were using the.
Which I didn't know there were
for
dirty clothes in
storage.
there, yeah. But anyway, so I grabbed these dirty clothes and I put them, I used them as a pillow. And then in the morning, I found out that they were Jim's that could stand
Well,
up
you
on their
noticed
own.
an odor during the night. You said you woke up going, "Damn, did I just showered? I know I did." And yeah, and it turned out they were the ass pants. They were pants that smelled like ass. And you used them as a pillow. Ah!
Yeah, so.
It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ass pants story.
You're right. And also, I'm a weather nerd. I love to follow the weather and try to, forecast the weather and watch fronts and all that kind of stuff. And we got out there and there was no NOAA.
Right, because N stands for
National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which I guess just happens to only be in the United States. Who knew? Oh, and then we had a sandstorm from the Sahara Desert.
Yep.
That
Sahara
was so
Desert
cool.
sandstorm.
Yeah.
But the people at the charter company were funny. At the marina, they said, "Yeah, you just tune in the weather on the radio in the afternoons. That's all you
Right.
need to do." Well, we couldn't find any weather channel on the radio.
I tried really hard, but I didn't even think that NOAA didn't exist.
On the AM/FM radio.
Right.
There was
right.
nothing on the UHF
Right.
or VHF or whatever it is.
I mean, we were out there for 10 days, so I guess if something bad blew up, I'm sure they probably would have come and got us or something.
Right. There was a little squall every afternoon.
Yep, we had squalls every afternoon, but
Just a little.
anyway. So that was a really wonderful trip.
I will help you.
Okay, Blue's going to join us. There we go. There's Blueser. There she is. Oh my goodness. Hi, honey. Okay. And
Good.
oh. And then a couple years later, anything else about the BVIs you want to share?
Well, what was your most favorite part or whatever you asked me? Same question.
My most favorite part, I think, really was the
Snorkeling?
well, I loved the snorkeling, but also the 3 to 6 foot seas that day was the best sailing I had ever had.
The sporty, what'd you call it? Sporty?
Sporty. It was sporty sailing.
Sporty weather.
Oh, and we would take turns at the helm, and other people would put it on autopilot, and I was like, "You're wasting your turn. I'll take your turn." I remember.
Autopilot is fun, though.
I felt they were wasting their turn,
That's right.
and I could have taken their turn anyway. And so then a couple years later, then we were in San Diego, and I was currently in a position where I did a lot of negotiations, quarterly negotiations. So Jim said, "You get the boat and you make the arrangements." So I did, and I cannot remember what kind of boat that was, Val.
City Dock, it was 27-foot Catalina.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't know what year it was, but 27-foot Catalina.
Okay. And
It was a sporty little boat.
yeah. And oh my gosh, the ships in the San Diego Bay were,
It's busy.
yes, very busy.
Some of them were quite big.
They're huge cruise ships. I mean, like 10, 15 stories high.
It seemed like it.
Enormous. Enormous
My
ships.
memory is the one that almost ran us over.
Right. I was sailing.
Not really.
And Jim had got swag at the conference, a sailor's hat. And I had actually had a real sailor's hat. My brother was in the Navy in Vietnam, and he had given me one of his hats. And so it was pretty cool that Jim had brought back swag of a sailor's hat. So some of the pictures you're going to see are the sailor's hat. But anyway, I was sailing. I was at the helm, and Jim said, "Okay, I want you to do just exactly what you're doing."
I was doing the lines, doing the sheets, and I was standing in the companionway looking at you, so I was looking behind the boat,
Right.
and you were looking forward.
Right. Trying not to run into anything.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim said, I want you to keep doing what you're doing, but don't freak out, but just turn around slowly. And seriously, like right behind us was this enormous cruise ship. And the pictures are not going to do it justice. It looks like it's not as close as how it felt that day.
But it was crossing our path behind us.
Right.
But it looked like it was bearing down on us. But it wasn't. But it looked like it was going to.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you just turn around and see it sitting there.
And it looked much closer than it does in the pictures, but
Right, had to be there.
right. And we had a great room. The hotel room was looking out over the San Diego Bay, and there was. You want to talk about the ships in the harbor?
Well, right across the street, there was docked the Surprise, I think is the name of the boat from Master and Commander movie with Russell Crowe. I think it was called the Surprise. Anyway, that boat was docked there, and next to it was a Russian submarine. We didn't go on those boats, but my colleagues did. Russian submarine, and then there was a lot of warships out in the bay, of course, because there's that big base right there, right in the bay.
And there were other small boats that got the
Plenty
one
of
we
small
were
boats
on.
too,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it was a great afternoon. It was just we didn't anchor out overnight or anything. We just took it out for afternoon sail. But that was very fun.
Very much fun.
Oh, and we had a mojito afterwards.
Yeah, and we called this bicycle taxi guy who gave us a ride there, and he gave us his number, so we called him and he came and got us, and we bought him a refreshing beverage. It was right at the Hyatt. The city dock was right at the Hyatt, I think, because that's where we were, I believe, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right. I remember it was the hotel,
That's where the
outdoor
charter
hotel
boats
bar,
were.
right?
Yeah.
But okay, so I mean, we bareboat chartered other vessels like the houseboats and that kind of thing, but these are our two sailing bareboat charters, and the BVI's one was just life changing. It was just amazing, and both kids were excellent sailors.
Yep. Yeah, and they've rented boats too, sailboats, since then.
They
in
have?
various places, yeah.
Oh, I did not. I don't think I remember that. I'm sure I did.
It's been a while.
Yeah. That's awesome. Cool beans. Okay. And so next video, our October video will include the boat show, I'm sure. And hopefully, and I'll probably put we're going to do a walkthrough of the apartment at some point because we're in DC now, as you know. And our family, I'm sure, will want to see the inside of the apartment, so we'll do a walkthrough of that at some point. But that will probably be, we hope to get on some catamarans in Annapolis.
Mm-hmm. We're just an hour outside Annapolis, so we can run over there and look at boats anytime.
Yeah, about 45 minutes.
Pretty much, because
yeah.
we live a life of leisure. We go swim laps every day.
Yep, we've been swimming
You can
laps
tell-
every
look
day.
at the ribs, my ribs. Look at the ripples in my stomach from working out.
We
So-
both feel really good. We're getting healthier every day. Jim's always been healthy.
Not so much.
Yeah, he is.
I
You
should-
work out every single
I
day.
should smoke and drink more.
We don't drink at all. Okay. Anything
Okay.
else you want to share
I'm
about
good.
this last month? How about the two boats that we were on
2 boats we were on.
this month?
Oh,
we
the
were
ones
on,
we looked at?
yeah,
Yeah, well, there was one
two
right here.
Venetos.
Yeah.
Right.
There was one right here in DC that we thought we better take a look at. It was 351.
Yeah, it's 35. Yeah.
And it was a project boat and just a nice little boat, but just too much needed to be done. Of course, that was reflected in the price, but just a little more of a project boat than we really want right now. And then we looked at a 34-foot, a newer one over in Annapolis, and you got a thing going on there. And that was a little small for what we wanted, and a little over, or quite a bit overpriced in my opinion. But we didn't have either of them surveyed. Yeah, but this broker's name, he had the same name as me, and so when it came up on a listing, I felt compelled to give him a call, just to introduce myself and nothing else. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so he was a nice guy.
Yeah, he was.
So
It's just, I think that we probably are looking at a catamaran. But, I mean,
probably.
we loved our Beneteau very much. We loved Island Time. And if we can find one with a berth that would accommodate our needs, the cabin,
A
Then-
big main cabin.
right, then we would
That's
probably,
kind of what we're looking for, but we'll see.
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see what comes up.
Okay, alrighty, so that's it for this month, and we will talk to you next month. If you have any idea what are in these snorkeling pictures, feel free to leave it in the comments. I have no idea what we were looking at. It was a really
Little fish.
inexpensive. Well, no, there wasn't.
Underwater camera.
It was very
A
inexpensive.
disposable underwater
Yeah,
camera. right?
disposable underwater camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. But so if you have any idea what is any of the plants that we were looking at, feel free to leave comments or any other comments, and press like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want, and push the notification bell so you find out a day earlier than everybody else what we've been doing. Thank you so much for following our journey. Okay, anything else, honey?
Nope.
Okay, say bye, Jim.
Bye, Jim.